do. Do 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 do. Look at. Here comes Spider-Man.
Review for you!
Let's talk about a movie. So, if you've watched my reviews before, you know I tend to get kind of spoilery, but I'm trying something new this time, and I'm going to try really hard not to spoil anything. I'm just going to tell you about my feels, and I'm going to tell you about all the awesome stuff, and I'm just going to try to convince you to go see this movie, because you got to. You got to. It's good. So let's get rolling. First of all, I was not a fan of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans. And I know I'm not alone in that. I mean, I liked the first one alright, the second one made me upset, and the third one just made me angry. I think that we've all experienced some of that in that series of movies. So when the new Amazing Spider-Man movies were coming out, I was super excited because I was hoping that it would be like, it would wash the bad taste away, you know what I mean? Like the way that I think the Edward Norton Hulk did for the Eric Bana Hulk, which I didn't love. Sorry, not sorry. And I was so happy that the new Spider-Man movies seem to be amazing. I didn't mean to do that. First of all, I love Andrew Garfield. I think that he's adorable, and I think that he does such a good job of capturing the sort of dorkiness of Peter Parker, who, you know, if you know about Spider-Man, you know, he's a big dork. Like, he's kind of snarky, and he's really smart, and he's totally funny and weird. And I think that Andrew Garfield really captures that. Also, I don't know if this is like him doing his own stuff. I mean, he had to have worked out a little bit because he's in pretty good shape. But they didn't like bulk him up, and they really played on the fact that he is an acrobat. Like, Spider-Man is a freaking acrobat. Google Spider-Man comics. The covers are always him in this like completely outrageous like crouch thing, and he's like phew phew slick slick, and it's just like really really awesome acrobatic stuff, and they are really taking advantage of that, I think, in the choreography of these films. Aside from his totally physical like perfection for this character, I think that he really brings a lot of real emotion to the character, because I felt like it could have been so melodramatic, like just angst, so much angst. But instead it was like, this is a 20-year-old kid, like 18 to 20, right? Because he just got out of high school or whatever. And he's handling things the way an 18-year-old would handle those things. You know, like, emotional turmoil is not an easy thing to handle, but he's trying, you know? And I think that's huge, and I think that Andrew Garfield brings so much depth to that without being overbearing, I guess. Now, I have a pretty outstanding crush on Emma Stone. I mean, I think we all do, but it's pretty bad. I love her so much. I have watched her lip sync battle with Jimmy Fallon like 25 times, probably. Sorry, not sorry. Anyway, I always really liked Gwen Stacy in the comics. I thought that she was really interesting, and I loved how smart she was. And I think that Emma Stone's sassiness is just like the perfect way to bring this character to life. She's so brilliant, but she doesn't take a lot of crap, you know? And in Amazing Spider-Man 2, she's so take charge and just like in it and making big decisions and, you know, just taking the wheel. And I think that's incredible. And of course she, like, this is secondary to everything else, but of course she looks amazing. And she's got those big giant eyes and a really beautiful smile, and she's the kind of character that you also fall in love with. and totally understand why Peter's in love with her, because how could you possibly not be, you know? Every time she was on the screen, I was a happy camper. And that's not just because I'm like super crushing on her, it's because she was so fun to watch. Sally Fields, of course, was a treasure. I love her. Everything she's in, I'm pretty much completely in support of, because she's Sally Field. And I mean, there's really nothing else for me to say, aside from the fact that she really sells it in this movie. And if you're, you know, a lover of the classics and you want yourself some Sally Field, go see this, because she brings it. She brings it hardcore. That's all there is to say. Let's talk about some villains. So, I love Jamie Foxx. Just like a lot. I loved him from Dreamgirls and pretty much everything else I've ever seen him in ever. But he's got just like, he's so good at having this sort of nobody, sort of small, invisible guy, which is ridiculous because he's so charismatic. It's just a humongous testament to his acting that he can be this like totally invisible, like nobody. And him in this character as Max, he was so freaking amazing. Like, I didn't know whether to be uncomfortable or feel sorry for him or both, you know? It was really complicated, and it just built up this character to where it was going so well. And if you like Jamie Foxx, you need to see it, even just for him. If you're like, Spider-Man, I don't care. Go see it for Jamie Foxx, because he's incredible in it. He's incredible in it, and you need to see it. Let's move right along to Dane DeHaan, the guy that played Harry Osborn, who you may or may not know is Norman Osborn's son, head of Oscorp, the big, like, the man in the world of Spider-Man. He is, you know, he is Wayne Enterprises, basically, but of Marvel. And, like, way less benevolent. Less let's help the people, more let's control the people. Anyway, so Dane DeHaan was Harry Osborn, and he just took it to Creep Town. But, like, in the most endearing way. And I don't know if it was his eyes or the really intense way he would, like, speak, but I was captivated every single time he spoke. And I was so conflicted because he was so... I didn't know whether I wanted to support him or not. But I loved watching him, and he was so creepy, but like in the best creepy way. And I have never seen him before. I have no idea where he's from, or if this is his first movie, or what. But I want to see more of him and stuff, because I want to see if he can do other things, you know? Like, I know he's got the intense, like, sort of sad but determined thing, because in this movie he is all of those things. He is so interesting. Just go see it. And I want to see what else he can do, because I have a feeling he can do so much. So the plot in this movie, I'm gonna, like I said, try really hard not to give anything away. I don't know how many of you read the comics, I don't know how many of you like spoilers or have put together what happens or what, but the plot in this movie, I did not feel like I was there for 2.5 hours. I didn't. It felt like a no-holds-barred thrill ride, folks. Holy crap. And I just, like, when it was over, like, I liked where it stopped, but I was ready for more. You know? I was like, come on! What's next? Who is next? Let's bring it! I am so ready to watch Spider-Man save the day! And there were all these really great themes in this movie. There was, like, hope and like, truth and all these amazing, heroic, epic type themes. And all of them felt very accessible and very real. And there was this really great theme, like this sort of undertone of acceptance and recognition in a life that doesn't get those things ever. That was so beautiful to watch, because it was just, it's a thing that we all want, right? We all want people to see us. We want people to listen to us. I'm in front of a camera in my empty room, for God's sake. It is a very human condition to want to be seen and heard and understood and accepted, and that was a humongous part of this film, and I'm just saying you should see it because of that. And the plot was good, and the writing was so quick and smart. All the words in this were so important. It was really good writing, which I think is a really high compliment for a film. I'm about to go buy the soundtrack. Let's talk about some music, because it was like a hipster playlist, but like with the added bonus of some really filthy dubstep. Like, I like me some, you know, Imagine Dragons and some Mumford & Sons and whatever. You know, everyone has a little bit of a hipster operating in them, but I also really love like some really dirty, dirty beats, and this movie, oh, it was so good. And Pharrell is on the soundtrack, who I have recently fallen deeply, deeply in love with. His music is just so good. But the music was integrated in such a way that it was almost part of the dialogue at times, and it completely reached me on a different level than soundtracks usually do. It was so visceral, I guess is the word I'm looking for. It was just so it was so good. And I think that even if you don't like dubstep, and you know, that's your prerogative, no judgment here, do like what you like, do what you do. But even if you don't like dubstep, just the like really filthy sort of, it was almost a language of its own, this music. And I think that you should at least check out the soundtrack, because if nothing else, it will provide you a good soundtrack to walk or run or ride the bus or kick a bunch of asses. I don't know what you do with your spare time. Magnificent Six. Just so good. Yeah, music. So, I can probably only pay this movie so many compliments before you're going to think I'm incredibly redundant, but I'm just saying, go see it. I don't know what you're waiting for. Click off the computer and go see it right now. Go see it. Okay? Okay. Bye.
This is the stuff that protects my computer from demons and aliens and the Empire and like rebels and stuff. So I'm pretty well protected on all fronts, I think.